Okay, this tutorial, we're dealing with the section in conics for the parabola, 5.2. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly, even though we've done this in class, I'm going to quickly go over the characteristics of a parabola and what all the important features in the parabola are. Okay, so a parabola is basically a cup curve that either goes up or down or to left or right. So firstly, in a vertical parabola, it can either open up or down. Here I have the up one drawn. So that's the first characteristic that's important, is whether it's up or down. And also with a parabola, you have a vertex point, which is going to be h and k, just like the center point for a circle, but in this case it's called a vertex point. And what a parabola actually is a set of points that is the same distance away from a line as it is from a point. So the point is called the focus, and the line is called the directx. So here's the line, and there's the point, so focus and directx. And the interesting thing about that is they're equidistant, and that distance that we are using is called p. So we just call it p as a symbol. Another interesting thing is the center area of the parabola, the line that goes through the focus, the vertex, and cuts the parabola in half is called the axis of symmetry. And for a vertical parabola, like this one is, an opening up in parabola or a down parabola, that line is going to be x is equal to whatever the vertex point is, h. The latus rectum is actually a line that goes through the focus of the parabola and touches the edges of the parabola. And it's actually 4p long, 2p on each side. So those are all the characteristics of a parabola that are important. Here on the bottom here I have, and I'll move it up a bit so we can see it better, I have a parabola that opens to the side. So it can open either to the left or right. So these are two different kinds of parabolas. Now on my next sheet, I'm going to go through all four types of parabolas that there are as well. So here we have, here's a vertical one, here's a horizontal parabola. So here we have the parabola. The parabola can open up in four versions with an equation in standard form. So now we're going to look at the equation in standard form of a parabola. So here, these two are vertical parabolas. Here we have the vertex point. There's the vertex point. This one's opening up. When p is a positive value, we have an upward parabola for a vertical parabola. When p is a negative value, we have that opening downward. Now the general form, the standard form of this parabola equation is y is equal to 1 over 4p bracket x minus h plus k. H and k being the vertex, p being the distance from the directx to the vertex, or the distance from the vertex to the directx or focus, if you remember our beginnings. So that's that p value. Okay? Now, when we're looking at the parabola, when it's vertical, it's y equaling something. Okay? On the bottom here, I have my horizontal parabolas, and it's x equaling something. Notice h and k change position because y squared. Remember, the y point of the vertex is always the k value, and the x point of the vertex is always the h value. So these two parabolas here, these horizontal parabolas, are actually opening up to the side, either right or left. And again, positive p means it's opening up to the right, and negative p means it's opening up to the left. And again, p is the distance from the vertex to the directx, or from the vertex to the focus for the parabola. And notice that because it's a horizontal parabola, it starts with x equals y minus k squared plus h, where hk is the vertex of the parabola. So that kind of summarizes generally the shapes of parabolas and the characteristics of parabolas. So if I ask you types of questions like find all the characteristics of a parabola, we'll be looking for the axis of symmetries, the values of p, what the focus is, what the directx is, what's the axis of symmetry, and all those kinds of things. Okay, so in general form, you can convert that standard form into a general form. So if you see a parabola in general form, it looks something like this. It'll have ax squared plus bx plus cy plus d. Notice that one term is squared, or it could be the y term that is squared. Okay? So this is the general form of a parabola. It has one squared term, either the x or y, and one with x or y by itself, no square, or one solid variable, no square to one of those x or y's. So what we're going to do in our first example is we're going to look at a standard form parabola, and we're going to try to list all of its features. So I think I'm going to save that for our next tutorial, and I might run out of some time. So that's what we're going to do in our next tutorial. So I'm just going to switch over.